All right, my friends, welcome back to Gamers Are Spoiled, PC Gamers Are Spoiled Brats Part 2. We are gonna continue this, seeing as this video actually resonated with you guys a little bit, and I didn't get a whole lot of angry, mean content back. Look, guys, the new direction of the channel, trying to find the positive in the things that I cover between the games and the hardware and stuff like that. There's gonna be pushback from time to time, and the channel's probably not gonna grow as rapidly as it would if I just bent the knee and accepted whatever the wisdom is out there on the street. But I'm not gonna do that, and there's a reason for that, because I am a new generation PC gamer. I started in the age of RTX cards. I'm not gonna be beholden to some old philosophy of how hardware is supposed to be and how hardware is supposed to be created. And I've been playing video games since I was 5 years old. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what kind of video games I like. And when I put up a video of Forspoken, it's because I like that game. And I think that more people should play that because I found enjoyment in that world, and I loved it. So look, guys, I'm not as critical of things just because of the fact that, like, look, man, we all get up and go to work every day. We all spend our money. Sometimes we make a bad choice and buy something dumb and it sits in our backlog, or it's, and we're going to get to that in a second, or it just sits there, or we get a refund, or we take it to GameStop and sell it. We all have been there. We all make mistakes, but we've all been playing games long enough to kind of know generally what we like. And sometimes you just need to see something and you're like, okay, I want to take my chances with that and see. Very rarely do I ever buy a game that I absolutely hate. That very rarely. And there are games that I'll buy and I'm just not in the moment right then, and I'm like, oh man, like Expedition 33, okay? That is a highly praised game. And I love it too. I was like, wow, this is incredible. I love the way that they did this. But I got about halfway through the game and I quit playing because I had to go to work, and I have not been able to pick it back up since. It's just one of those things where you get into the rhythm of playing the game, and every time I get back into it, I'm out of rhythm, so I get frustrated really quickly, and I just end up stop playing it. So it's not that it's a bad game, it's just one that I probably need to have a whole weekend and like restart from the beginning so that I can or at least have that time to be able to sit and play it and be in a mindset or a mood. Or there'll be games that I've bought that'll sit in my backlog for a long time, and then I'll finally download it, play it, and I'll get right through it, and it'll be cool. So when it comes to games, very rarely do I ever find a game that I don't like. I usually only buy the stuff that I actually like. Obviously, first impressions, you see the game, you hear maybe a little bit of or something, and you automatically know right then and there, is this something that I want to play? And so, yeah, at that point, like very rarely ever get a bad game. But when it comes to hardware, my friends, and please hit that like and subscribe button and comment in the comment section if you guys are happy with the direction of the channel and you guys are happy with this stuff. I can't stress how important that is. Not only just because if I'm only getting the negative comments all the time, if I'm just getting the negative feedback, that makes me feel like I'm going in the wrong direction, and then that makes me want to try to course correct. And then I get a whole lot of pushback from that. So if you enjoy this content, please just say hi, just say something. Even if it's just hi, then I'll know that, like, okay, cool. I'm on the right track. People are resonating with this. People like that. I go through and I watch the time watched, the time viewed on these types of videos, and they are very high. They're very high. So I know people are watching these. I know people are liking them, and I'm not getting a whole lot of pushback, but as we start covering the 5050 this weekend, I am going to get a lot of pushback on that card. I've got a lot of pushback on the 5060 on these 8GB cards. Now let me be 100% clear, okay? I recommend, this is my recommendation, this has not changed, it's been this way for a while. 16 gigabytes is the sweet spot for VRAM. That is where I think you should honestly aim, so that you have longevity and you have and you have accessibility to a lot of the new games that are coming out. And this hasn't changed at all. Like, I recommend having a GPU with the same amount of RAM that the current console generation has. If you want to be able to push your game and get console level or better features, yeah, you're gonna want at least that. Now, the consoles have 16 gigs of RAM, 10, some is used for video, the other is used for system, stuff like that. So yes, if your GPU has 16, you should be able to meet and exceed the console experience. That is my recommendation, 100%. Now, PC gaming is completely different, and it's taken me a while to figure this out. It's legitimately taking me the last 3 years of trial and error, and I can't listen to the noise out there, because it's just noise. It's just noise. It's legitimately designed for clickbait. One of my highest months was over 300,000 views. That was like a $1,200 freaking month on this channel. There are other channels out there that consistently hit that video with every video they put out, and a lot of that stuff is negative. So look, guys, money is involved. People do things for money that they probably shouldn't do, and it doesn't matter to them. As long as they're getting what they're getting, they don't really care. There are gamers out there, and we're going to talk about this, 8, 10, and 12 gigabyte GPUs. We have, first of all, let's talk about the 5050, okay? The 5050 is legitimately the bottom barrel card that you're supposed to be able to get desktop-wise. This card is going to be used for people that are not necessarily 100% gamers. These guys might be trying to video edit or do some of that other stuff just on the cheap. Maybe a parent is trying to buy a GPU that'll play games like Roblox and Minecraft and some of these other things. The 5050 is that, here's your GPU for, like, this is the cheapest one we're gonna sell. These are the specs. It comes with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. I do not see the 5050 as a bad card. The $250 price, I looked that up today, and the 3050 had the same damn price at MSRP at $250. I've been looking at the MSRP on a lot of these cards, and they were higher. Some of them were even higher than what we are paying right now for the current generation of GPUs. Look, during the golden period, there might have been like this like, oh yeah, you get this much raster and blah, blah, blah. And I talked about this on the video yesterday. Look, AMD was all about doing the raster. People rejected that. They're like, nope, we want the features. So AMD's like, all right, fine, we're getting you guys the features. We're gonna bring them out RDNA 4. Now we got the features on AMD, but we also got the cutback GPUs that everybody's complaining about now. Look, guys, and this is my stance on it. 8 gigabytes for 5050. I'm not even a little bit upset about that. We're gonna buy that. We're gonna test. I already bought it. We're gonna test the crap out of that. We're gonna see exactly what it can do. We're gonna see if that card will give us fun. The main things I'm looking for on that GPU, 5050, can we actually use the features? What kind of a ray tracing experience can I get, and is it even possible at that level? It's possible on the 5060. I tested that out, and it was more than capable of doing that. So let's see if that trickles down to the lower class, because that, my friends, will add value to that experience and that value proposition for $250 in my mind. Can it, and obviously the DLSS performance. So here's the biggest thing, and the biggest factor of these new GPUs is the fact that DLSS 4 actually looks good at 1080p. You can use it in quality, even balanced. Performance, it starts to look a little bit, like, oh boy, I don't know about this, but balanced and quality look pretty good. So that's something we'll be testing, like image quality at 1080p, at ultra wide 1080p. Those are the things that I'm looking for that $250. What games can I play on this? We probably will be going back and testing some older games on that. And a mixture of newer games. I'm probably not going to go out of my way to try to punish it with games like like Indiana Jones, you know, at like max settings. We're probably not going to do that because we're going to treat it realistically like we did with the 5060. We're going to use realistic settings in a situation to where it's like, okay, somebody buying a $250 GPU, this is my thoughts, and tell me in the comment section if I'm wrong. Somebody buying a $250 GPU is probably browsing around in the Steam sales looking for a deal for games to play. They're probably looking for something to play on the weekends, or you know, something that's got a cheaper price. So we're gonna try some older games. We're definitely gonna test out some RTS games. I've got like 6, 7, 8. I've got games like Warhaven, not Warhaven, but War Mongrels. I've got stuff like I got a few of them. Like I got some good ones. War Mongrels. I got the Valiant. I've got what is it, like this Rome one? It's Rome Expeditions. I've got some good ones. So we'll test some of those out, and we'll be testing out games that I think would be more in that bracket for somebody that's going to be buying that GPU. Just because it's like, okay, that's what they want to see, and all they get to see from the other guys is just the latest and greatest games, trashing the card, making it look as horrible as possible. And let's just be real, guys. The console experience has bled into the PC experience, and the PC experience has bled into the console experience. It's getting a lot harder these days to tell them apart. If you ask me, that's exactly what it was. Obviously, going to PC, I thought we were going to get native resolution, and I thought we were going to get this and that and that. But now that I look at it, and this is probably why it's easy for me to just fall in line and be like, all right, whatever, this is the way it's going to go. Let's see if we can, if we're actually getting good enough hardware moving forward. And everything I've seen to date since I've been in PC, and now that I look at it from this point of view, if I look back to the 3060 Ti, if I look back to the 3080 10 gig, if I look back across my experience with all the GPUs I've bought over the last 3 generations, if I factor in the console aspect of it and how it's kind of transforming and the lines are getting a little bit blurry and it's a transformation, games have never looked and ran better to me in my life. I've been playing games since I was 5 years old. I'm 44 years old right now. They've never looked better. They've never felt better. I am 100% blown away 99% of the time when I see a new game, okay? I don't have any issues with performance right now. I don't have any issues with visual quality. I can turn everything on. I can use features, and I get a better experience than I ever got when I was just using consoles. And you can immediately tell when you look at the games on PC versus the consoles, there is a significant improvement in the overall experience. So I do think that gamers or PC gamers are spoiled brats, and they act like spoiled brats. And I think it's quite hilarious, the complaining that comes out of these guys when you look at the real situation. Like, I get that there's a lot of YouTubers, they're all parroting the same thing. They all have each other on speed dial. They all talk to each other, and they all decided, look, man, we're going to try to take down NVIDIA's 8 gigabyte cards. Which, to me, it's like, all right, cool, guys. I really hope that NVIDIA is just like, you know what, man, we're not even going to send you guys cards anymore, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. We'll just take the hit on the head with you guys saying, oh, NVIDIA didn't send us the cards. I would much rather NVIDIA and AMD just be like, look, dude, we're not even going to do it no more. Like, if you're going to bash our freaking products for the lower end, making it harder for people, look, I'll tell you right now, as a longtime console gamer, if my only option to come to PC from consoles, from a $700 console was like $2,500, I don't think I would have ever jumped into PC gaming, just due to the fact that it wasn't gonna, like, it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to spend 4 times more at that point. Now it does. Now it absolutely does. But it didn't make sense for me to go from something that worked perfectly fine for me and was giving me a gaming experience to spend and invest that much more money into the PC experience. So when I look at these entry-level cards like 5060 or 5050, I'm confident that most console gamers would buy these cards, and even in their ignorance, throwing it on a 4K display and turning everything up and still getting a significant, because we know they're going to turn on DLSS. Okay, we know that DLSS is going to cushion the blow. You know, hopefully they put it in on a game that's like they could actually run, you know, at 4K with DLSS and be okay on like their 5060 or I tested a 5060 Ti at 4K. It's a possibility for a lot of people, and the fact that it looks better and plays better than a console, I was like, okay, this is perfectly fine. And that's why I say, like, I'm perfectly confident in the fact that, like, even if NVIDIA and AMD are out there tricking the ponies and the Xbots into buying freaking 8 gigabyte GPUs and their $1,600 freaking pre-builts, those pre-builts are still gonna blow them away. They're still gonna make them happy. They're still gonna get that, like, yeah. And then the ones that actually have money, they're going to go out and they're going to buy more. They're going to upgrade because they're going to be sold. They're going to be like, yeah, why didn't I do this sooner? But then the other people, you know, they're going to make do. They're going to get used to the higher refresh. And I think most PC gamers will have to, you know, depending on where they buy in, they're going to have to make that choice. Okay, am I going for higher frame rate or am I going for this? And once you've played higher frame rate, it changes. It really does change. And plus there's channels like Frogboy X1 Gaming out there to try to help them along as they navigate the messy waters of PC gaming, because it's just so negative. Everybody's out there to bash everything. And to tell you the truth, guys, if I would have, I made the video a while back. I'm not even joking when I say this. I envy console gamers that are coming to PC this generation with RDNA 4 and Blackwell. I absolutely 100%, I put that on everything that I envy. I envy those gamers that are going to get to experience PC gaming at that level with these cards, with the 16 gigabyte models, maybe not the 8 gigabyte models. I mean, because the biggest thing is if you buy 8 gigs, guys, if you buy 8 gigs, you're gonna grow out of it faster. Does it make more sense to spend more up front to get a better rig? Abso-freaking-lutely, guys. Get a 70 class experience or 16 gigabyte 60 experience. I think you'll be happy with that card for a while. But the biggest thing that I worry about with 8 gigabytes is that you'll grow out of it pretty fast, especially if you like to play a lot of the new AAA games and you want those features and the settings and stuff. You're going to grow out of it pretty fast. And I just don't want you to, the only thing is I don't want you to have that anger and animosity that I had when I first got into PC gaming, because all I was hearing in the 30 series was like the overhype, because everybody was overhyping it, NVIDIA at that time. Now they're not overhyping it no more. They were overhyping it a lot back then, and it was like, oh yeah. And like the new consoles just weren't giving us what we were thinking they were gonna give us, and things were messed up back then. Things are a lot different now. We have a PS5 Pro for those console gamers that just want to have the best console experience they can have. Yeah, PS5 Pro is awesome. I definitely recommend it. But for everybody coming to PC, look, man, 8 gigabytes, I'll tell you what, I'll split the difference with you. If next generation 8 gigabyte cards come out, I will push back. I will push back next generation, because you're right, it's been, 8 gigabytes has been long enough, but I will push back next generation. I'm not gonna do it this generation just due to the fact that I'm still able to mostly enjoy the 60 experience, 8 gigabyte GPU on the 5060, and then we'll test the 5050 this weekend. I was mostly able to enjoy damn near everything I wanted to play on it. Like all of my Ubisoft games run just fine. I can utilize the features and it's a great experience. Some games, you know, like Horizon Forbidden West, I was running into issues with that, but I was already running into issues with that on a 12 gigabyte card, so it doesn't really matter. That's just one that I would set in the category as like, okay, probably not going to be able to play this. Even like low settings was fine, but it doesn't look very good. And then there was other games, but we're still going through there. Obviously Indiana Jones at low settings. IdTech looks incredible at low settings, so that didn't really bug me. I was perfectly okay with that. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, there are going to be some games out there that are going to really struggle with 8 gigabytes. So as long as you go into an 8 gigabyte card knowing exactly what you're buying and having realistic expectations for it, I don't see them as a bad thing this generation. Next generation, guys, look, there has to be a minimum of 12 for 1080p. It has to. Games are starting to get a lot more potent. And the biggest thing is I can now get a playable experience on a 5060 with ray tracing. And then that starts to eat up more VRAM. So yeah, we absolutely need 12 gigabyte GPUs next generation for the 60 class, or they need to double it to 16. They should just do 16, but a minimum of 12, and I won't freak out too much, but yeah, at least 16. Next generation, if they do 8 gigabyte GPUs, I will push back. I'll push back to a point where it's like, I will advise the community to maybe not buy those, especially after next generation, because the new consoles will be out. So we'll get a new VRAM hierarchy for the new consoles that are coming out. That's it. And if they go up from 16, if they go up from what they are right now, absolutely it needs to increase. It needs to increase. So we'll wait and see. Like right now, guys, I don't necessarily think 8 gigabyte GPUs are cheap. They're cheap. They're $250. It's not a lot of money for the amount of hours you're going to put on that. That's cheap. The motherboards that are necessary for those are cheap. The CPUs that are necessary for those are cheap. The freaking storage, the cooler, all of that stuff. It is cheaper to buy into an 8 gigabyte GPU, like a 60 class card, than it's going to be to get anything else. The 70 class card, you need a better CPU. 80 class card, you need a better CPU. The higher up in card you go, the more money you're going to spend on your foundation. So you guys are spoiled, rotten brats, and that's true, and that's fine. Maybe you should be. You should never accept less than what you feel. But at least go into these situations knowing more, having a better understanding, because dude, you could be one of those people that are like, look, dude, all I play is 360 games. Do I really need a 9070 for that? No, dude, you can legit play all those games at 120 frames a second at 4K on most hardware out there now. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily need super high-end gear to play that. If you want to play RTS games, you don't need a freaking 5090 to play RTS games. There's games out there that you might not need all that power, and like, yeah, it'd be nice to have it, but there's no need to waste a lot of money on PC. Dude, honestly, guys, it would be easy to go against 8 gigabytes. It would. But every time I look on Steam and I see thousands and thousands and thousands of games that you could legit max out at 4K with a 5060, it gets harder to do that, because there are thousands of games out there that you could still play and enjoy with that level of GPU. So it's not as cut and dry. It's not as cut and dry as everybody else tries to make it out to be. It's just not. And to bash a company like NVIDIA for selling an 8 gigabyte card for $250 to $300, man, I guarantee it. I could find more than enough games to keep me occupied and busy on those GPUs without playing brand new AAA bangers that would go past that. I guarantee I could. I can legit play freaking Assassin's Creed Valhalla on that card. Okay, like I'm perfectly okay. And then if you factor in the fact that you've got 1080p displays, you've got 1440p displays, it's not as bad as these guys try to make it out to be. It's just not. Okay, there are select games that are really pushing 1080p. There are. But my opinion is if you're spending $250 to $300 on a GPU, you're probably not spending 70 bucks on a AAA banger to play it day one. Like, you'll know that, like, okay, all right, this game's kind of out of the question for me because I got an 8 gigabyte card. Like, it would be nice if everybody could play it, but I personally wouldn't be like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna spend $90, $80 on a game so I can play it at potato mode on a. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? See, and that's just the thing that I don't think a lot of people really even think about when they're out here saying this stuff. Yes, 8 gigabyte GPUs for most of us that make $60,000 to $100,000 a year, we should be able to get a better GPU, okay? Like, we should be able to get a better GPU. So us sitting there on our high horse, looking down on people that might not have that, seriously, like, if you can afford better, there's no reason for you to trash the bottom. There's no reason. There's no reason whatsoever for you to go out of your way to trash the bottom cards. Like, why would you do that? If you can afford better, trust and believe, you were there. I was there. I was at a point where, like, $250 GPU would have been like, whoo, man. You know what I mean? But thankfully, I am in a better position now that I don't have to game there. But I could still find joy and happiness at that level. It's perfectly okay. Like, it's not bad at all. PC is such an amazing thing that you have access to so much content that you're not stuck. You're not stuck. You could legit probably still play games on like 4 gigabyte GPUs. There's probably enough on there to play those. Like, you could probably legit do that. So look, you guys are spoiled. These are some of the best GPUs and consoles that we've ever had. And yeah, like, I love gaming enough to where I do make a stand. Like, I'll make a stand and be like, nah, man, let's try to keep it realistic. And you guys tell me in the comment section all the time that you like this. And this is the kind of content that I would want to watch. This is the kind of content that I would want to watch. Somebody like me talking like this, I'd be like, yeah, dude. Heck yeah, let's see what the stuff can do. Let's be realistic about the prospects. Let's not trash the products that, like, might be somebody's only option. Because look, dude, if you're buying a product and you already think it's trash, it's gonna have that shit used to affect me all the time. Like, I'd buy a product and then I'd watch the reviews and just listen to everybody complain about how trash it was. Man, I'm so glad that I do reviews now and that I can do them myself. So much cooler. I don't have to wait for anybody else to pass judgment on something. So, all right, guys, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. Like I said, hit me up in the comment section. At least say hi. Let me know that this kind of content is something that you want. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It definitely helps the channel grow. Definitely boosts the morale of the channel. And it gives me the incredible support that I need to keep making the content that you guys want and the content that I want to make, instead of having to bend the knee and be mean to everything. So, all right, my friends, we'll see you guys in the next one. Froggy out.